ಆದ್ರೆ ಒಂದು ಒಳ್ಳೆ ವಿಚಾರ ಆಗಿದ್ದೇನು ಅಂದ್ರೆ ಯಾವ ಸಿನಿಮಾಗಳು ಕೂಡ ಆ ಭಾಷೆಗೆ ಮಾತ್ರ ಸೀಮಿತವಾಗದೆ ಇಂಡಿಯಾದಾದ್ಯಂತ ಅಂದ್ರೆ ನಮ್ಮ ಭಾರತದ ಎಲ್ಲೆಡೆ ಸಿನಿಮಾಗಳನ್ನ ನೋಡೋದಕ್ಕೆ ಸಾಧ್ಯ ಆಯ್ತು, ಅದು ಭಾಷೆ ಯಾವುದೇ ಆಗಿರ್ಲಿ. ಅಂತ ಒಂದು ಸಾಲಿಗೆ ಸೇರುವಂತ ಸಿನಿಮಾಗಳು ನಮ್ಮೆಲ್ರಿಗೂ ಗೊತ್ತೇ ಇದೆ. ಬಾಹುಬಲಿ ಆಗಿರ್ಬೋದು, ನಮ್ಮ KGF ಆಗಿರ್ಬೋದು, ನಮ್ಮ ಕಾಂತಾರ ಆಗಿರ್ಬೋದು, ಚಾರ್ಲಿ ಆಗಿರ್ಬೋದು, ಹಲವಾರು. ಹೀಗೆ ಭಾಷೆಗೆ ಯಾವುದೇ ಬೌಂಡ್ರಿ ಹಾಕದೆ ಸಿನಿಮಾಗಳು ಹೃದಯವನ್ನ ತಲುಪುವಂತ ಒಂದು ಒಳ್ಳೆ ಸಮಯ ನಡೀತಾ ಇದೆ. ಇಂಥ ಸಂದರ್ಭದಲ್ಲಿ ನಮ್ಮ ಮುಂದೆ ಬರ್ತಾ ಇರುವಂತಹ ಸಿನಿಮಾ ದ ಲಾರ್ಜೆಸ್ಟ್ ಎವರ್ ಮಲಯಾಳಂ ಪ್ರೊಡಕ್ಷನ್, ದ ಗೋಟ್ ಲೈಫ್, ಆಡುಜೀವಿತಂ. ರಾಷ್ಟ್ರ ಪ್ರಶಸ್ತಿ ವಿಜೇತರಾದಂಥ ಬ್ಲೆಸ್ಸಿ ಅವರ ನಿರ್ದೇಶನ ಇದೆ. ದ ಸುಪ್ರೀಮ್ಲಿ ಟ್ಯಾಲೆಂಟೆಡ್ ಪೃಥ್ವಿರಾಜ್ ಸುಕುಮಾರನ್ ರವರ ಅಭಿನಯ. ನಮ್ಮ ಭಾರತೀಯ ಚಿತ್ರರಂಗದ ಅದ್ಭುತ ನಟರಷ್ಟೇನಾ ಅಲ್ಲ, ಇಂಟರ್ನ್ಯಾಷನಲ್ ಆಕ್ಟರ್ಸ್ ಕೂಡ ಈ ಸಿನಿಮಾದಲ್ಲಿದ್ದಾರೆ. ನಮ್ಮ ಜೊತೆನೆ ಜಿಮಿ ಜೀನ್ ಲೂಯಿಸ್ ಅವರಿದ್ದಾರೆ. ಇಷ್ಟೇನಾ, ಅಕಾಡೆಮಿ ಅವಾರ್ಡ್ ವಿನ್ನರ್ಸ್ ಆದಂಥ ನಮ್ಮ ಭಾರತದ ಹೆಮ್ಮೆಯ AR ರೆಹಮಾನ್ ಅವರಾಗಿರ್ಬೋದು, ರೆಸುಲ್ ಪುಕ್ಕುಟ್ಟಿ ಅವರಾಗಿರ್ಬೋದು, ಇಂತಹ ತಂತ್ರಜ್ಞರು ಇವರೆಲ್ಲರೂ ಸೇರಿ ಮಾಡಿರುವಂಥ ದ ಗೋಟ್ ಲೈಫ್ ಖಂಡಿತವಾಗ್ಲೂ ಇಂಡಿಯನ್ ಸಿನಿಮಾ ಜಗತ್ತಿನಲ್ಲಿ ಒಂದು ಹೊಸ ಸ್ಟ್ಯಾಂಡರ್ಡ್ ಅನ್ನ ಸೃಷ್ಟಿ ಮಾಡ್ತಾ ಇದೆ ಅನ್ನೋದು ಈ ಸಿನಿಮಾ. ಆದ್ರೆ ಈ ಸಿನಿಮಾ ಆಗುವಂತಹ ಒಂದು ಪ್ರಾಸೆಸ್ ಇದೆಯಲ್ಲ, ಆ ಪರಿಶ್ರಮ ಏನೂ ಕಮ್ಮಿ ಇಲ್ಲ. ಯಾಕಂದ್ರೆ ರಾಮನ ವನವಾಸ 14 ವರ್ಷ, ಈ ಸಿನಿಮಾ ಇವತ್ತು ನಮ್ಮ ಮುಂದೆ ಬರೋದಕ್ಕೆ ತಗೊಂಡಿರೋದು 16 ವರ್ಷ, 16 years. 2008 ನಲ್ಲಿ ಬೆನ್ಯಾಮಿನ್ ಅವರು ಕತೆ ಬರೀತಾರೆ. ಆದ್ರೆ ಇದಕ್ಕೆ ಸಿನಿಮಾ ರೂಪ ಕೊಟ್ಟಿದ್ದು ಸುಮಾರು 10 ವರ್ಷಗಳ ಹಿಂದೆ ನಮ್ಮ ಬ್ಲೆಸಿ ಸರ್ ಅವರು. ಇನ್ನು 6 ವರ್ಷಗಳ ಹಿಂದೆ ಅಂದ್ರೆ 2018ಕ್ಕೆ ಚಿತ್ರೀಕರಣ ಶುರುವಾಗಿ ಅಷ್ಟು ಪರಿಶ್ರಮ, ಪ್ಯಾಷನ್ ಇಂದ ಮಾಡಿರುವಂತಹ ಆಡುಜೀವಿತಂ, ದ ಗೋಟ್ ಲೈಫ್. ಈ ಸಿನಿಮಾ ಇವತ್ತು ಟ್ರೈಲರ್ ನೋಡಿ ಎಲ್ಲರೂ ಹುಬ್ಬೇರಿಸುತ್ತಾ ಇದೆ ಅಂದ್ರೆ ಅದಕ್ಕೆ ಅಷ್ಟು ಶಕ್ತಿಯುತವಾದಂತಹ ಟೆಕ್ನಿಷಿಯನ್ಸ್ ಕಾರಣ. ಅವರ ಪರಿಚಯ ಆಗಿಲ್ಲ ಅಂದ್ರೆ ಈ ಸಿನಿಮಾ ಕಂಪ್ಲೀಟ್ ಆಗೋದಕ್ಕೆ ಸಾಧ್ಯನೇ ಇಲ್ಲ. ಒಂದು ವಿಶೇಷವಾದ ತಂತ್ರಜ್ಞರ ವಿಡಿಯೋ ನಿಮಗಾಗಿ ಕಾದಿದೆ. ಲೆಟ್ಸ್ ಹ್ಯಾವ್ ಅ ಲುಕ್.
It was an amazing experience with a very talented director, Blessy, and I had the pleasure to work with Raj, the man with the master plan, and yeah, it's very. I'm very grateful to be introduced to the Indian audience by such a. I would say it's a masterpiece of a movie. You know, it was very difficult to shoot. It took Blessy 16 years. Raj pretty much the same, me a bit less. It was a labor of love based on a true story, and yeah, very very happy to be here in India and to be part of what I guess if you say Indian cinema, yes it is, and thank you for having me.
Known as a person from Malayalam cinema taking Kannada cinema to Kerala. For a change, I have had an opportunity to bring Malayalam cinema to Karnataka, and I'm very happy about that. For people who have been keeping track of our promotional campaign for the film, I'm assuming this is going to be a done to death story, but I believe I owe the courtesy to my media friends in Bangalore to take you through a small recount of how this film came into being. So this, of course, by now you all know, is a true story. It's the life of Mr. Najib Mohammed, who, following a series of unfortunate circumstances, got stuck in a desert in the Gulf in the early 90s and had to spend almost 3.5 years in forceful confinement under forced labor, pretty much modern day slavery, till he managed to incredibly escape from the desert. And later on in 2008, following months and years of research and documentation, Benjamin, the author, finally documented the man's life into a beautiful novel called Aadujeevitham. It was published first in 2008, and as soon as the first edition came out, the novel was a smash hit. It became almost pop culture in Kerala. And as we speak today, it is still being published, and we are now on the 251st edition. So as soon as the novel came out, I think the first set of people to be really thinking about the novel were cinema people, because it immediately came across that this would make an epic piece of cinema. And I know personally that back then in 2008, early 2009, a lot many filmmakers, lot many actors, lot many producers, not just from Malayalam cinema but from other languages as well, had their eyes on Aadujeevitham the novel to try and procure the rights. But as destiny would have it, it was Mr. Blessy who managed to get the rights. And as my luck would have it, Mr. Blessy thought it was me who should be playing Najib in his dream film, his magnum opus. And that happened in early 2009 when Blessy sir and me shook hands and we decided that we are going to do this film. So remember, back in 2009, Pan-India did not exist. You know, the word had not yet been invented. But we still knew all those years ago that eventually when we are able to do this film, we want to try and attain the vision that Blessy sir had in his mind. And he always thought of this as a big canvas, grand scale film. And we always knew that whenever the film was ready, we would love to have it released all across the country, all across the world, at least in 5 languages from India. It took us 10 years to finally start shooting because the scale and the canvas of the film was so big that in 2009 it was next to impossible to think of something like this from Malayalam. So it took Blessy sir 10 years to finally bring about all that was needed to do something like this. In 2018 we started shoot, and unfortunately in between the shoot COVID-19 happened and the world came to a standstill and we had to stop shoot. We were shooting in Jordan when the international lockdown happened and we had to stop shoot. Not only did we have to stop shoot, our entire team comprising of 80 to 100 people, we were stuck in Aadujeevitham in the middle of the desert in Jordan for almost 3 months till we managed to get a repatriation flight to come back to India. The shoot was suspended for almost 1.5 to 2 years till we finally managed to regroup, go back to Algeria, shoot the escape portions of the story. Then we came back to Jordan. We finished what we could not shoot when we went there in 2020. And then we came back to Kerala, did a few patchwork scenes that we had to inside sets. And finally the film got wrapped. Its principal cinematography got wrapped. Following that, there was 1.5 years of post-production. And as we sit here on the 28th of March, a 16-year-long journey, most likely one of the toughest films to have ever been made, at least to my knowledge, and a very, very challenging piece of cinema is being presented before you. And I'm so happy that we have managed to bring the film to the audience in 5 languages. And of course, when it came to the Kannada version, I did not even have to think. With Hombale and me, we are friends, we are co-associates, and Vijay Kirigandu sir is a very close friend. Frankly, I did not ask him if he will distribute the film. I told him, you are distributing the film. And him being him, he said okay. We have worked as hard as we can in the Kannada version as well. We have tried to create as much of originality, keeping the Malayali culture and nativity within the film for the audience who would like to see the film in Kannada. And I have once again attempted the misadventure of dubbing it in Kannada as well. So when you watch the film, pardon the bad Kannada. I really look forward to hearing what you think of this passion project that we are presenting before you on the 28th of March. Once again, thank you for being here.
Thank you, sir.
I think I don't try to speak anything about my feeling because I think my feeling will speak to you. Because said true story, Mr. Najib is now living in Kerala in a hostel area. He is working as a fisherman in Kerala. We try to do our maximum potential in this film. Only in 28 you can judge and criticize and you can support the films. That's all. Thank you. And once again, thank you, Ombala team, for this great opportunity. Thank you.
The man who truly believes in
Is sung by the same singer Jitin in all the languages, because we thought we understand that it might not be perfect in terms of slang, but his voice had so much of import in it when he sang the original that Rahman sir was keen that he will be the one singing all the languages. And that, regarding the dubbing, I'm not sure, because there are a lot of characters in the film and I'm not sure who all have dubbed.
How many transformations you went through?
So the way we approached the film and the transformation for the characters, we decided that I will put on a lot of weight first, so that eventually when I lose weight, the difference will be very stark. So I put on a lot of weight for the beginning portions of the film. It was fun. I ate a lot and became quite heavy, as you can see in the Kerala portions. And then we went to Jordan and we shot the portions where he's initially reaching the desert with the same. I was quite heavy at that time. Then we stopped shoot for about 7 to 8 months, and I started my process of transformation. I lost 31 kilos actually. That version of me you will see in the film only, because we didn't want to give out stills or anything before. So there's a scene in the film where the character finally shows his body, and you will see how I looked. Unfortunately, what happened was, it was while filming those portions that the lockdown happened. And so then the shoot was stopped for almost 1.5 to 2 years. Finally, when we were regrouping, I had to do the entire transformation process once more. So I lost weight again. We went back to Algeria and we shot whatever was needed to shoot, that we needed to shoot. But in terms of stages, you will see 3 different stages of the character in terms of his physical transformation also, which is his portions in Kerala and the initial portions in the desert where he comes there and he realizes that he's stuck. Then you see this character a few months later where he's beginning to change. He's lost a bit of weight, his hair and beard have started growing out. Then you meet him 3 years later, where he's completely transformed, and his body, his physicality, his mannerisms, body language, everything has changed. So there are these 3 stages to the character.
How did you manage to,
Yeah, sir.
how did you manage to keep your dates and your physical?
Sound, please.
How do you manage to keep your, physically fit for this film? You would be doing other films also. How did you manage?
So once I started the process of the transformation, I did not do other films. I don't know if you know of a film called Ayappanam Koshim, which is fairly popular outside of Kerala also. So I finished the shooting of Ayappanam Koshim and I stopped everything. And then for a few months, I only concentrated on the transformation for Aadujeevitham. But then when the lockdown happened and we had to stop shoot, unfortunately it was quite a scary time for us, because we did not know how long, and none of us knew how long the pandemic would last or when we can resume shooting. So we came back and I started doing other films. But if you notice, all the films that I've done during that period, like Janaganamana and all that, I'm very thin in those films, because I did not want to let go and gain all the weight back, because I knew at some point I would have to come back to the Aadujeevitham shape. So it wasn't easy. I'm not claiming it was easy. It was quite a tough period in my life. But in the back of my mind, I knew that I'm doing it for a very special film and an even more special character. So yeah, no regrets. I am very proud of what we have been able to achieve. And I'm very proud of the fact that I gave this film my all. It's a really big effort from all of us, including myself.
All the best.
For the first part of your question, my family and friends did not like it at all, obviously, because I wasn't looking good It wasn't like a nice weight loss. You know. I wasn't looking good, and my mother at one point called Blessed Sir and told him, please tell him to stop. Blessed Sir never asked me to stop also. Okay, so yeah, I mean, so idea behind the transformation, we never kept a goal that okay, these many kilos or anything. The idea was I lose as much as I can, and to be honest, I surprised myself. I didn't expect that I would be able to achieve what I eventually was able to achieve. Regarding the diet, see, usually when I've also gone through transformations physically for many films, and usually it's like either you lose a bit of weight or you go to the gym and you put on muscle and you six pack and all that. That I've also done. But here, what you're trying to achieve is the physicality of a man who was starving, who did not have access to enough food. And unfortunately, the only way to achieve that is to starve. And my transformation was largely based on literally that, starving, which meant I was fasting. And there were times when I was doing 72-hour fast, like fasting for 3 days and sometimes 2 days. So it was largely based on fasting, and I just for a long while stopped lifting weights and all that. It wasn't a good feeling. I was feeling my weakest. I was not feeling good inside of me. But when I see the film, everything seems worth it. So there was actually no diet involved. It was just not having anything, not eating anything. Yeah.
In the Kannada industry, which is the celebrity that you're close for and your heart goes for them? Any words on for that?
Who am I close to? Prashant Neel is a celebrity, no? Then it's
Sure.
yeah.
So you said that you have dubbed in Kannada.
Yeah.
How difficult was it to capture original aesthetic language?
That you should tell me when you hear my Kannada, because I think I'm blessed with an affinity for languages. I'd be modest enough to claim that much. I think when I listen to someone speaking a language, I'm able to reciprocate and reproduce, if I have the lines with me. But this is not the first time I've dubbed in Kannada. I dubbed for Salar also in Kannada. My take as an actor is that your voice and the way your voice lends itself to the lines you speak form a large part of your performance. And I feel a little uncomfortable letting go of that control and letting someone else perform that part of it for me. I feel a bit uncomfortable for that. And I also noticed one thing that whenever actors attempt dubbing in multiple languages, they usually dub in their home language, which in my case is Malayalam. And most times it's usually Tamil and Hindi, or maybe Tamil, Hindi and maybe Telugu. I think very few people have attempted to dub in Kannada outside of Kannada. I think maybe the language is tough. Maybe, I don't know. So for Salah, the first thing I told Prashant when he narrated the film to me is that I want to dub in all 5 languages. And the first question he asked me is Kannada also. I said, yes, Kannada also. And I was very keen that I want to dub in Kannada. And I'm fully aware of the fact that my Kannada is not perfect. But I'm also aware that you're an intelligent audience. You will know that it's a Malayali actor attempting to dub in Kannada, and you will forgive me for the mistakes I make. So that's okay.
Thank you, sir. Jimmy sir, my question is to you. So tell me in English that I will translate it to in the Kannada.
No, tell me whatever you want, pal. You know, I'm a student here. I'm in
ಎಲ್ಲ
your town.
ಕನ್ನಡಿಗರಿಗೂ
Say it again.
ಎಲ್ಲ ಕನ್ನಡಿಗರಿಗೂ
ಎಲ್ಲರಿಗೂ
ಸ್ವಾಗತ.
ಸ್ವಾಗತ.
ನಾನು ನಿಮ್ಮನ್ನು ಪ್ರೀತಿಸುತ್ತೇನೆ. ಮಾರ್ಚ್ 28ಕ್ಕೆ
Now you're being way too ambitious.
ಸಿನಿಮಾ ಬಂದು ನೋಡಿ, ಗೋಡ್ ಸಿನಿಮಾ.
Say what?
ಮಾರ್ಚ್ 28ಕ್ಕೆ ನಮ್ಮ ಸಿನಿಮಾ ಬಂದು.
That is way too long, darling.
ಮಾರ್ಚ್ 28ಕ್ಕೆ.
Thank you very much. I tried my best.
Hello, hi.
ಮೇಡಮ್ ಟ್ರಾನ್ಸ್ಲೇಟ್ ಮಾಡಿ. ಏನಂತಂದ್ರೆ ಒಂದು ನಾವೆಲ್ ಬೇಸ್ಡ್ ಕಥೆಗಳನ್ನ ಸಿನಿಮಾ ಮಾಡುವಾಗ ಒಂದು ಚಾಲೆಂಜ್ ಇದ್ದೇ ಇರುತ್ತೆ. ಅಂತಂದ್ರೆ ಈಗ 250 ರಿಪಬ್ಲಿಕೇಶನ್ ಅಂತಂದ್ರೆ ಆಲ್ಮೋಸ್ಟ್ ಕೇರಳ ಜನರಿಗೆ ಈ ಕತೆ ಗೊತ್ತು. ಸೊ ಒಂದು ಸಿನಿಮಾಟಿಕ್ ಲಿಬರ್ಟಿ ತಗೊಂಡು ಈ ಸಿನಿಮಾ ಮಾಡುವಾಗ ಆರಂಭದಲ್ಲಿ ಅಂದ್ರೆ ಬಿಗಿನಿಂಗ್ ಅಲ್ಲಿ ಈ ಸಿನಿಮಾ ಮಾಡಿ ಗೆಲ್ತೀವಿ ಅನ್ನೋ ಒಂದು ಧೈರ್ಯ ಇತ್ತೆ ನಿಮ್ಗೆ? ಭಯ ಕಾಡ್ಲಿಲ್ವಾ ಈ ಸಿನಿಮಾ ತಗೊಳ್ಳುವಾಗ?
No translation. I understood. By the way, the book is also available in Kannada. It is also translated into Kannada, and I would actually encourage all of you to read it. Anyway, so yeah, this at the very beginning, Blessed Sir and me knew that the biggest challenge we have in front of us is this hugely popular book that lakhs and lakhs of people have read. And also 2 things that we understood and realized at the very beginning itself is that 1, we cannot recreate the book as such. Because literature has the liberty of micro detail, right? I mean, a moment in Najib's life could be 20 pages. It also has the liberty of doing the opposite. Like months of Najib's life could be just one paragraph. So writing on print has that liberty that usually cinema does not. At least it doesn't lend itself well to cinema. So we can't recreate the book as such. If we were to make a film on everything and all the information in the book, it would be like a 12 or 13 hour long film. So that we can't do. Secondly, one thing we always knew was we cannot question the reader's imagination. Like when you read the book, you would have imagined a Najib, you would have imagined a Masra, you would have imagined your version of the desert. We can't show you a film and tell you you were wrong. That we can't do, you know. So you can't challenge the reader's imagination. So then what can we do? What we can do is we can probably attempt to create the emotional journey of the character. We can try and attempt a visual manifestation of the emotional arc of the character. So what you feel when you read the book is what we hope you will feel when you see the film. But it's a completely different experience when you're actually seeing it manifest visually in front of you. And one of the most moving moments for us as a team is when the real Najib saw the footage of the film and his eyes teared up and he kept saying "Ella," or like everything came rushing back to memory, everything came rushing back to memory. So I can imagine as traumatic as that must have been for him, for us it was like a great affirmation that, you know, if not exact, we got pretty close to what the man must have lived through.
Prithviraj, this is Sujay here. Sir,
I had the experience of living with one film through so many different phases of his or her life. Because when I said yes to the film, I wasn't married, I wasn't a father, I had not turned producer, I had not turned director. So many things have happened in my life, and all through those phases, the one constant was, I'm doing Aadujeevitham. I'm doing Aadujeevitham. So between 2008 and 2024, I'm assuming I've evolved as a man, hopefully for the better. I've evolved as an artist, as an actor, and come the 28th of March, you're right, you know, it's like a big phase of my life is culminating, and I don't know what to make of it, because I don't think many artists would have had that experience. It would only probably be, you hear stories of Mughal-e-Azam and all, you know, the films like that. So I'm assuming this must be what that person must have felt. So yeah.
How difficult was it to come out of the character actually?
So usually actors, especially the ones who work as much as I do, who've done as many films as I have, you develop a faculty to be able to disassociate and walk away from films and characters. But good question, because I don't think that is going to be so easily possible for this film and this character. Because for 16 years, I have constantly lived with the thought, at least in the back of my mind, that I'm doing this character. I'm playing Najib. And for 16 years, at least one layer of my subconscious must have been ideating for this character. So I don't think this is a film that I'll just be able to walk away like that very easily. But I don't want to also. I think some part of it I want to carry inside.
Sir,